Thank you, and welcome to our little podcast here this afternoon.
Fantastic, thank you.
What we haven't really had time to brief you on, because it's a new thing in the last 48 hours, is we are starting a little bit of a movement that we're calling Reboot Australia, because I have a strong sense that that's what Australia needs in the coming days, weeks, and months. We have a lot of great resources out there. We just need to mobilize that to rebuild what for many will be lost ground, but we need to rebuild that very quickly. But before we get into that in more detail, tell me a bit about you. What's your story as an entrepreneur? How did you get to be where you are now?
Get to be where I am now. Do you mean with a crying 2-year-old daughter? Just I'm not sure if she's in earshot over the microphone. I hope not. If you hear some footprints knocking around, it's my 5-month-old lab retriever who's currently asleep next to me, and we're just dealing with life best we can.
Very good. So yeah, you're running a very interesting business with a lot of different things that you're doing all at the same time. How did you get to be where you are today?
Okay, I'm not quite sure how deep you want me to dive into that, but I came to Australia 15 years ago now, yes, in July 31st, 2005, as the captain of the Great British AFL side. And I came over here to play in an international tournament. And once I had realised, wow, this place is something special. Melbourne, especially, it's something special. It's a beautiful city. It's full of opportunity. It's on the beach. It's got sport. It's got business. It's just lovely. The climate was fantastic. I don't care what the rest of Australia said. I love the climate here in Melbourne, and decided to try and make it home, I suppose. And I started working with a gentleman, working for a gentleman, firstly, in the finance world, and that became With very soon. And what were we doing? We were building a business around asset finance.
Yeah.
And that was financing just items, basically, security assets and things like that, breaking them down into a weekly or monthly repayment. And then I realized, oh my gosh, this was probably late 2000s. I'm not in finance. I'm not sort of a normal finance type person. I enjoy people. And I just so happened to have lucked across a product that everybody uses. If I go to a room, 9 out of 10 people finance something, or have financed, or will finance something. So I guess the more people I could put in that room, the more people I was able to help. Then there was a lot of gray area in the finance world. So I enjoy helping these people. And there was a fast flow-on effect where my network grew, my company grew, and the more opportunities just presented themselves. And I enjoy seeing new opportunities. I'm very fortunate to have a lot pass through and that I have access to. And again, it's just building that network, building that rapport with people. And that's what I really enjoy. I suppose if you're hanging out with great people and there's a lot of smiles on faces in your immediate circles, then there's something good happening. And if you can turn that into work, turn play into work and work into play, it all just becomes this life. Yes. And that's what I like to sort of flirt around in. I'm not a 9-to-5 type person. I'm up very early. I'm not in bed very late, but anymore. But I just, if you go to the gym in the middle of the day, or if you have a meeting at 5:30 in the morning, nothing's out of the norm. As long as I get my pieces in around business, around family, around love, around personal, I don't really mind what time they are. Everything just sort of comes out in the wash. Yeah. How I've ended up where I am now is a very, very big conversation that I could chew your ear off for a long time, but I feel very fortunate wherever I am.
Fantastic. Well, we'll no doubt revert to that over a bottle of something useful when we're allowed to meet again. So in this journey that you had in getting to where we are today, are there any particular challenges, something really big that stands out for you that was a tough one to overcome and that really put some hurdles up for you?
So it's Wednesday, the 25th of March, 2020, and you ask what is been difficult right now, without equivocation. We are in the depths of the COVID-19 effect in Australia. I say depths the initial depths. It's sort of taken over the country as we speak, going into lockdown. Right now is a really difficult time for me on many different levels. Firstly, seeing what it's doing to the country, it's splitting everyone apart. Everyone's pointing and blaming, and nobody quite knows what to do because there aren't really any answers. So I find it difficult, firstly, because we're subject to distraction everywhere. What you digest, digestion is the second most important word to me behind love. Digestion might be mental and physical digestion. The mental digestion that everyone is going through at the moment is so far out of balance. It's difficult to imagine. You turn anything on, it's COVID-19. What's going to happen to the world? The world's going to explode. Australia is going to explode. It's going to take 10 years to come back. There's so much media attention and distraction for an opinion that isn't creating any value for me at the moment. So I try and remove myself from story and opinion and just focus on the facts. That's difficult in itself. I have a couple of businesses who have been hit very hard by the current situation, the current economic climate. And that's very difficult to deal with because you think you've been pushing things uphill and they're going nicely, they're going beautifully, and then the rug is swept from under your feet. Just as you're beginning to really build some momentum. And in that comes casualties and friends and loved ones who are potentially in your employ, making difficult decisions. It's very tough. I like to think I control what I can control, affect my controllables. This is out of my control. And all I know is the particular businesses in question. I need to ensure that there's something for these people to come back to, but it doesn't make it any easier as a leader, as a business owner, to have these conversations, to put these plans in place, knowing that there is an end user, which are my team, who who've spent years with. You just have to have faith that your role, your mindset is strong enough to build through these times and hopefully provide something for the whole team to come back to. But again, as I said, it's very difficult because it's infinite. We're not quite sure. It's not a set time. It's not, no, I'll see you in a month. It might be, I'll see you in 2 weeks, or it might be, I'll see you in who knows when. It's a really difficult space. Yes. And then with some of the other assets that we have that might be in a bit of good form or might be able to help a lot of people in the current environment, and switching between the two emotions of, I suppose there's many emotions dealing with at the moment, but switching between difficulty for one sector, one vertical, yet another vertical working overtime, yes. Switching between, and then being there as a leader for my clients, my friends, my network, and keeping their eyes on what is fact. There's a lot going on at the moment, Mike, and as you know, as a business owner, who is a leader for many of your clients, it's difficult sometimes, but an absolute honor and great responsibility at the same time to have that bestowed upon. So I honestly feel, I had this conversation with a good mentor of mine today. I honestly feel I've been training my whole life for this current period, literally, that we're in at the moment.